I just got back from watching Dhurandhar the Revenge, and I absolutely love this. I really do. Hello there, namaste. So Dhurandhar the Revenge is the sequel to Dhurandhar, which came out like near the end of last year, and the sequel literally got dropped a few months later. I had no clue there were going to be two films. I ended up watching the last film, getting to the very end of it, and then being like, wait, that's already over? What the heck? Because it felt like an hour-long film. This one kind of has the same feel, not with how it ends, because it actually feels like it ends. However, the film feels like an hour, maybe 2 hours at most, but everything constantly flows so well together. And I gotta say, I didn't feel any aura farming this time around, so it didn't really feel like it slowed down like before. I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but I will say one thing that happens at the very beginning of the film. I thought where he was like a criminal who basically like, you were gonna serve a life sentence, we're gonna use you for our operation. And I'm not right, but at the same time, I'm right. And because when I was watching, I was just like, oh, I'm definitely wrong. I'm definitely wrong because this is something I would do. It's definitely not a villain. And I was walking out of the theater going, wait a minute. That is something that he was a criminal. It's like, wait a minute, what? He was a criminal, but he was doing something like it hit me hard. Like, oh my gosh, I could see myself doing that. What you do for family, what you're willing to do, to the lengths a man is willing to go to for their family. I absolutely love that beginning sequence. It's absolutely worth it because as a man, you're like, yep. Yep, that is exactly what a man should do when it comes to his family. Not like his own personal family, but his immediate family, his sisters, his mothers, his father. It's like that kind of thing is just like, oh, that hits close to home for me because I have a great family. So for me, when I saw it, I was just like, yeah, I know what I'd do for my family, and it's literally this. So the film does a bit of an origin story of him, but at the same time, it doesn't actually feel like much time passes. Like probably at the most, it was 40 minutes. But then again, time in this feels way too quick that you don't really notice it. You really don't. It just passes by. And if I'm honest, Ajit Duval, he really needs a side movie. He really does. They need to get the same actor because I absolutely love that actor. Because there is one scene with him in it, and this is by far, and if you see the movie, leave the quote down in the comments below, but in the film, it's the best scene, the most beautiful, and he's literally on a video call. He's on a video call, and you who have seen it know exactly the scene I'm talking about. It is absolutely beautiful because he's just like, finish the line. Finish the line. You all know it. No spoilers, but everyone finish the line in the comment section. It's just, it was beautiful. I freaking love that. That was by far the most impactful scene for me. It's like, oh my gosh, everyone thought India was just like this easy to push over entity, and now it's literally rising up out of the ocean. They realize that the ice cube in the ocean wasn't an ice cube. It's just a massive iceberg underneath. And there is something different from the last film. In the last film, every time they showed a newsreel, it was about a terror attack or 26/11 or, all those instances. Every time it was on the news, this film, it does a swap. You see the election of Prime Minister Modi. You hear in the background that they're doing strategic strikes. They're actually doing strikes when they have the intel to take care of the problem in advance. And then there's also getting rid of the money, where they burned all the old bills to get new bills. Everything is so beautifully done because, again, in the last film, I was remembering every time you heard something on the news, it was always depressing. This time, it was like I'd get a smile on my face. It didn't help that everyone in the audience started cheering. I don't like that. I don't like you Indians need to keep it down. Keep it down in theaters. But at the same time, I was smiling. I was like, huh, this feels good. I like it. I like it. Then everyone else starts whooping and cheering, and I'm like, keep it down. I'm trying to pay attention. And again, I mean, the lead character, he's somewhat fictionalized, somewhat based off real people, but the fact that everything is a real event. Like, they'll be doing like a gang violence scene, and then it literally has the date and time of when that event occurred, when these people were fighting, when these people were fighting, when these people were fighting. But another thing that's different is in the last film, it felt like only a few months had passed overall, maybe a year. In this film, he's literally sunk in place, executing everyone in a long span of time. Because at one point in time, something's going on. And then as it continues through, you just see it over time, like everyone being eradicated. And it's like, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's literally doing the same thing as in the last one, where they're taking out all the bad guys all at once. But then you're looking at like the kid growing, and you're like, oh my gosh, that really happened quickly. I was like, oh no, this has been in the span of years, almost a complete decade. He was sunk in trying to take care of all this stuff. But how I will end it is one of the best deaths has got to be the SP. That was by far the best death for me. Why? Because in an action film like this, you get a bunch of boss fights. The way that one went about it, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And what's funny is at the end of this film, it makes you feel like India is filled with Pakistani terrorists. However, Pakistan is filled with a bunch of Indian spies. That's the feeling I got at the end of the film, because it's like, is everyone here? Like, it's weird. It was just weird to me. I was just like, wait a minute. How does he have this servant that always helps him? How is this always going along? And at the end, they kind of tie it all together. And I'm just like, is everyone there a spy? Anyways, I absolutely love the film. They could have calmed down on the cursing, because that got like a bunch of the other audience cheering and everything. I don't care for curse words. It was just like, okay, whatever. But the twists in this film, I absolutely gotta say, I did enjoy it. Like at the very end, you're just like mind blown. I kind of wish I heard the story of one of the spies. There are a lot of things which you don't get to hear, but I kind of wish you do. But I think that's the point, where like you're hearing a story from one spy, but you get no audio. And I'm just like, I would have loved to hear that story, but I think that's the point. The point is they can be from anywhere. They can come from anywhere. But what are they doing? They are doing what their nation requires them to do. And I absolutely love that. Even though I would like to hear the story, I love the fact that it's like, oh, well, everyone. It could be anyone. Could absolutely be anyone. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.